What happened then were a few things that happened nearly in parallel. On one side, just a week or 10 days later, we concluded a deal for the development of 13 Holiday Inn Express in Romania against exclusivity, and in parallel we signed the agreement in principle with the Romanian American Enterprise Fund that just before signing the contract shared the risk with the fund originated from Austria called East Fund Management, which was owned by Bank Austria and Alliance Capital of the United States. The agreement enabled us to raise $3.65 million, which was enough for the Otopeni airport, but was not enough for the entire program of Holiday Inn Express in Romania, but was also subject to a few legal issues that we will turn, for example, our mother company from limited company to joint stock company, but at the same time also secure the debt finance from the bank. We managed to secure the debt finance with BRD, and thus the final and the complete agreement with the two funds signed, and in December 1997 we started seeing money coming from these two funds. Construction finally started in April 1998. You remember that we bought the first piece of land in October 1992, which means that we were 5.5 years later. What we did in the meanwhile, while waiting for the debt finance and while having E.C. Harris at very high cost in our office, we ran an international bid, and at that time came 13 different companies, some of them very large, from Belgium, Turkey, but obviously also Romanian companies. In construction, there are basically two methods to work. One is to have a general contractor who then take all the subcontractors, and there is another way, and this is to divide all the construction into packages, and this is in case you have a construction manager like E.C. Harris to do this for us. So what we did, we went first of all for a bid for the basement. The problem is in Romania that the water is the underground water is so high that if you dig already 1.5 meters, you are in deep water inside. Fortunately enough, the company that we took for the basement was expert in building metro and underground trains in Romania, and this way it came to be below the budget. So even when we contracted the agreement for, I think it was about $1 million, they came and they showed us that they can do it for $890,000. And as Romanians are very good in, they came to me and offered me personally to share the difference with them. The company that we used, called Tungal, turned to be very professional, and therefore we allowed them also to finish the construction above. Going back to debt finance and the bank loan, at that time, although we concluded a deal with the Romanian bank, the bank was not allowed to release any funds to us before we finished the skeleton or superstructure so that the building creates or looks like a house, and we could register it in the land registry as house, and only then the National Bank of Romania would allow the bank to release money to us. Thus, we had to find the basement and the skeleton, and obviously parts of the mechanical, electrical and plumbing before the bank came with any cent to our project. If we didn't have enough problems, so that in October 1998, if you remember, the Russian economy collapsed and basically all bank packages in Europe stopped. So in Christmas 1998, we stood with the structure finished after only 7 months work, but with a very big question mark if and when the bank will start releasing money to us. We agreed, and I cannot remember the terms, with the bank to start releasing money to us in April 1999. In other words, 4 or 5 months later, but after the owners injected substantial equity into the project. I will not take you through all the construction, and because I don't think it's so crucial and important. The important thing is that in October 2000 we stood with a complete hotel, which was just before getting the furniture and final works in, but the building and all the systems were already in place, which means that we are already in 1 year delay, but still, because we managed to save so much money thanks to value engineering and cost management, we still managed to be below budget. In October 2000, we started experiencing problems with Holiday Inn. They were very picky about the finishing material. They wanted to see all the fabrics, and every finishing material or equipment coming into the hotel had to be approved by them. For example, in the bar, there was a huge piece of bar that was with a sink, with ice machines, with various machines that had to put together. Holiday Inn wanted that the whole unit coming from Italy will be as one unit and not in pieces, so that if you stand from the side, you will not see that there is a joint between them. And I physically could not see how you could bring 600 kilo through the door and from Italy to our hotel. But as you know, for every coin there are two sides, and I am the last one to say that it was not also our fault. We had to deposit at that time $250,000 as per our agreement, but we simply didn't have the money. Holiday Inn started recruiting people as part of our company, and we pay the salaries, but they brought a very expensive managing director from Intercontinental, and we didn't have money to pay all these people. So what happened is that Holiday Inn, at the end of the day, decided to walk away, and so did E.C. Harris, because we simply ran out of money.